Hello hunters, my name is DarkHero and welcome back to my channel where we cover Monster Hunter content. I am so glad you are here. I hope you are all enjoying the frequent uploads, as I do put a lot of time and work into the channel and on my videos. But having said that, the Monster Hunter community is by far the most welcoming and positive community I've ever been a part of. I have shared many amazing moments with loads of hunters that I am happy to call friends. Monster Hunter World brought us all together like no other game had done before. Monster Hunter veterans who have been playing the game since the PlayStation 2 days and newcomers to the series all brought together through the thrill of the hunt. So with that in mind, I have decided to start a project with the intent of involving as many people as possible. A massive collaboration just like Super Smash Bros. This is what I call the Monster Hunter Tag, a chain that lets the members of our community get to know the content creators they already love a bit better and also allows them to find new creators whose content they might enjoy. It's quite simple really. In the description of this video you will find a series of questions. A person that is tagged will answer said questions in a YouTube video and will then tag 3 other content creators, which would then go on to tag 3 other people after answering these questions. It is important that these questions are answered in a YouTube video and that they would include the hashtag Monster Hunter tag in the description of said video. That would allow everyone to find other content creators that they didn't know of by simply clicking on that hashtag. This would allow for viewers to participate even if they are not tagged. Simply make a video and make sure you include the hashtag Monster Hunter tag. I would then make a separate video compiling the different answers and highlighting some of the best moments. On top of that, I have commissioned Joseph from Hijack to make these logos for the Monster Hunter tag. They come in different colors and you can find them all in the description below, so you could add them to your video thumbnail. With that being said, I think it's a good time for me to answer these questions. Again, all of these questions will be found in the description. Also, you may choose to use a webcam or not, it's entirely up to you. I just don't have a webcam, so instead you'll have some gameplay in the background. First question is, what got you into the Monster Hunter series, and what do you love about it the most? So I first got into the Monster Hunter series with Monster Hunter Freedom 1 for the PSP when I picked that game up at the age of 9. I still vaguely remember that day. It was my birthday. We went to a video game store to pick a game for me and I saw a video game that had the red dragon in the cover and I was in love with it, so I decided to pick that up. Back then we didn't have any fancy trailers to look up on YouTube or anything like that, or even if we did, I didn't have internet access, so you had to choose the game you wanted to pick up based solely on the cover. And as you can understand, at the age of 9 I wasn't able to understand what was going on. Being a Portuguese kid, I barely knew any English and what I knew was from the Pokemon games, so when it came to me learning the tutorials that Monster Hunter Freedom 1 presented, which were all presented through text, well, I was very much confused, but I insisted. I kept on playing through the game and I eventually started understanding some different weapons. For example, it was only after 40 hours or so of playtime that I realized that the dual blades had a demon mode. That's how bad things were for me back then. Despite all of that, I really enjoyed the game, and a few years after I eventually picked up Monster Hunter Freedom Unite and things clicked for me. I started understanding what I was supposed to do with the different weapons. I started understanding how the progression and the loot worked in Monster Hunter, and I started going hard on the game. I eventually got to G rank, never got too far into G rank, but I was still able to go to G rank, make my own builds, my own mixed sets, and I was having a lot of fun with the game. And the reason why I kept playing the Monster Hunter games is because of the way that Monster Hunter handles progression, how you can choose to go up against a certain monster, and if you do, you're going to be able to get his materials, which then you can use to craft the armor set or the weapons that are going to be good against specific monsters but maybe bad against some other monsters, so you will need to go up against a different group of monsters to get their weapons and armor sets to go up against even stronger monsters. The whole progression system works very nicely, it's easy to understand, and it's so addictive, especially when you get these feelings of accomplishment after you defeat a monster that you were stuck and weren't able to defeat for a very long time. And another aspect that I absolutely love about the Monster Hunter games is the community itself that revolves around it, how everyone is supportive and is always trying to help each other. It is such a good and positive community, and I was overwhelmed by the support that I got once I finally started making videos on Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter World, and I feel like the community is at the best place it has ever been with this game, and from here on out it can only improve, so I'm very excited for that. The second question is, what are some of your favorite moments of you playing Monster Hunter? It could be an epic moment, it could be a funny moment, or a moment that got you scared or mesmerized at the sight of a menacing monster. Or it could be about how Monster Hunter has played a big part in your life, which is true for me. These games have truly helped me through some downtimes in the past. And earlier I said that I had no clue about what was going on in the first Monster Hunter game that I played, and that is true, to the point where the final quest that you have for the 1-star quests makes you gather a bunch of mushrooms, or you need to go fishing for some specific items. I don't remember that precisely, but I do remember that you have to go to an area that is secluded in the top left corner of the screen in the first map of Monster Hunter Freedom 1, and in that area you're going to find a bullfango, and I remember so badly that it took me like 5 attempts to finish that quest because I kept on dying to that bullfango. I know it's so stupid, but I was not able to defeat that bullfango for the longest time. It took me a very long time until I was finally able to defeat it and to complete that quest. One other moment that I hold dearly about the Monster Hunter games is when I got my first tail cut. I think it was against a Gipsaros or against a Yangaruga. I'm not too sure on that one, because I know you're not able to cut off the tail of Ian Kutku, so I think it was cutting off the tail of one of those two, and I remember being mesmerized, because I was already pretty amazed when I saw that you could break the monster's parts. When I first broke Ian Kutku's face, I was amazed at that. But when I first saw that you are able to cut off the tail of a monster and that you are then able to carve parts from it, that made me so excited about the attention to detail that these games have, which is something that I later on started realizing, that the monsters themselves feel like actual living creatures that live in the world of Monster Hunter. They have their own habitats, they have their own patterns, and everything makes sense for a reason. Well, maybe except for Zinogre, because he has spikes on his chin, and that doesn't make too much sense, does it? Anyways, another awesome moment that has stuck with me through the years is when I first defeated Gore Magala in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and I thought I was done with the story, but then afterwards you realize that Gore Magala has survived, and then that it transforms into Shagaru Magala, and the fight against Shagaru Magala was insane. I absolutely love it. It is my favorite fight in the entire Monster Hunter franchise, and I still hold those memories very dear to me. Question number 3. What is your favorite monster in the Monster Hunter series and why? I do have a lot of runner-ups, monsters that I'm sure many people would not think of their favorite monsters, such as Lagombi or Zemtrios. I absolutely love those two because of just how quirky they are and how different their fights are compared to the rest of the other monsters. I especially love the Snow Baron Deviant of Lagombi, but my absolutely favorite monster in the entire series has to be Gore Magala because of what I said earlier, the way that the frenzy mechanic works, the way that this monster's own unique mechanic is able to affect the entire endgame of a single game, and how when you finally defeat that monster after you encounter it so many times throughout the story, it then becomes Shagaru Magala, an even more impressive monster. There is now an elder dragon that looks so menacing and powerful, and the theme that plays in the background, I absolutely love everything about it. So Gore Magala has to be, no doubt, my favorite monster in the entire series. Question number 4 is, what is your favorite weapon to use? I know that this might be a bit of a tough question for a lot of people. It is a tough question for me because I do love a lot of weapons, but I think my top 2 are the hunting horn and the longsword. The longsword is the weapon that I used all the way throughout Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, and I kept with it for a very long time because I love every single part of it. And now in World it feels even better because of how they changed its different moves, of how the spirit combo works, of how you are able to use the foresight slash to build up your spirit gauge, and how that move alone increases the skill ceiling of the weapon by a lot, and also the introduction of the Helm Breaker, a very awesome looking move, very anime-esque, and as a weeaboo I feel like a badass whenever I pull that off, but at the same time I am a huge fan of the hunting horn. I like being able to buff my team or just myself when I'm playing solo, and the way that in Monster Hunter World you have what essentially is a cheat sheet that tells you the different notes you need to play in order to perform the different melodies, makes things much more streamlined and easier for you to pick up the hunting horn and play with, so that's a thing that I like about it. But also going back to Generations Ultimate, I've been having fun using the hunting horn from time to time, so I guess if if I had to pick one, I would go with the hunting horn because of how good it is in just about every situation, especially if you are playing in multiplayer. And question number 5, the final question: why is that your channel name, or where does your channel name come from? Well, my first PSN account used to be called an abbreviation of my first name with CC at the end, and I remember that one day I was playing Modern Warfare 2 on the PS3 and then I stopped for some reason. I think I went to have dinner or something, but then when I came back I was no longer able to log into my account. I'm not sure if it was because of some hacking that happened or something, but I was then able to recover this account many years after, like 3 years ago or something. But at the time I made a new account which was called DarkHeroCC. DarkHero is based off of a character that is found in Disgaea 2 Dark Hero Days, which is a PSP game that I absolutely loved. It is a tactical RPG with a lot of character, and the characters themselves are very awesome and unique, very quirky. And in that game you come across a character that is called Axel. His title is the Dark Hero. He's a lot of fun, his abilities are a lot of fun to play with. You don't get to play with him in the main game itself, but once you beat the game, you then unlock a new mode where you have a new campaign and you are able to play with him as the main character. So that is why I named my new PlayStation account DarkHeroCC, and eventually when I started my own YouTube channel I just rolled with it and called it Dark Hero. And the CC at the end stands for the first 2 letters of my 2 surnames. And that is it for the questions. Again, they will all be listed down below in the description, along with links for you to download the different logos. And now I would have to nominate the people for the tag. As I said earlier, I will be tagging more than 3 people to get the ball rolling. Those people are Astra, Jacob from Chisholm Media, Joecat, Ruricon, Strawfoot, Take, Triceps, and Wise Gaming. If you guys are watching this, you have been tagged to do the Monster Hunter tag. Again, you'll have to answer these questions in a YouTube video. Make sure you include the hashtag Monster Hunter tag in the video description. Also in the description of this video you will find the questions as well as the logos. And for those of you who are watching, I will leave a link to a Twitter post in the description where I will be tagging the people that I have tagged in this video. So hopefully you guys go over there and retweet that a bunch of times so that the people who were tagged see that they were tagged and make a video on this. But this does not apply only to the people who were tagged. All of you that are watching this video can make a video on this. Simply make sure that you include the hashtag Monster Hunter tag in the description of the video, and as I said earlier, I will make a separate video compiling the different answers that the different content creators gave when answering this tag, and I will also be highlighting some of the best moments. And all of this could be a good way for you guys to get started. Even if you don't have a YouTube channel, this could be the incentive that you guys need to start one. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Let's see how many people this Monster Hunter tag can reach before the end of the year. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. My name is DarkHero, and happy hunting!